know what the plumber found? Dennis's yo-yo.
I'll have that stuff for that boy, Alice.
And then your son
My son?
came in and informed me he'd installed an automatic sprinkler system.
A what?
He buried the hose.
He's quite a guy. I'll have to go out later and dig it up.
He's quite a guy, all right. If his energy were run through a wire, you could light New York City. I love him, but I'm exhausted. Will you take me to a movie tonight?
Sure, honey. What do you want to see?
How about the Glenn Ford picture around the corner? Tonight's the last night.
You want to see a Western?
I want to see Glenn Ford.
Oh, you got a Henry Mitchell. What's the matter with him?
Not a thing. I'm going to hold Henry Mitchell's hand, and I'm going to put my head on Henry Mitchell's shoulder, and I'm just going to relax and keep my eyes on Glenn Ford.
Okay. Well, welcome to a very special podcast. This is the podcast where we basically watch your favorite TV shows and ruin them by drinking during them. But Kat no longer because she is allergic to alcohol.
I shouldn't be drinking today anyways.
Are you drinking alcohol today? Just like water?
No, this is cranberry tea. It is the only thing my stomach's been able to keep down.
Oh, fun. Okay, so this is the podcast where Patrick M. Dunn drinks and ruins your favorite TV shows, and Kat Halstead will just drink cranberry tea.
Yeah. For now, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
In case this is your first time at the rodeo, also, I just said I'm Patrick M. Dunn. You can find me on Twitter at Patrick M. Dunn. And I'm joined here, as always, by Kat Halstead, the author. And she's everywhere. Read all your things, because I can never remember them.
There's my Twitter at CatDVS. Cat is with a K. CatHalstead.com. Instagram, Periscope, all of that. Same username, CatDVS. So
okay, that works. That is pretty cool. And we have an account for the podcast, a very special podcast. It's Very Podcast is the Twitter account.
Yes, that is our Twitter at Very Podcast.
And then we are at a very. What is our website address?
It's a very special podcast.tumblr.com.
Nice. I almost forgot the name of the podcast. Sorry, I mean, we've only been doing it for like a year. We're like 30 episodes deep now. You would think I would...
I don't even know how far we're in. I don't remember anymore. It's all blur.
Yeah, we have many in the can. So this is our post Halloween episode. Actually, no.
Halloween is... Wait.
This is our second post Halloween episode.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
We're getting ready for Thanksgiving.
So we decided to go, before Thanksgiving, we wanted to do another palate cleanser. We wanted to go way, way, way back to the early years of television. And in case you didn't read the episode description or see the title, we did the 1959 series, Dennis the Menace. And I believe this is the first episode in the pantheon of Dennis the Menace episodes.
Yes, this is the first episode that was taped months before, like a year before the series actually got picked up.
So this is like 58 probably then, right?
Yeah, so they recorded this in like 1958.
Wow.
And then they waited a while. There's like, I forget why, I'm trying to remember if I can find it on Wikipedia. But it took them a while to actually like get the series
rolling
to air. Yeah.
So the show is based on a comic strip, I believe.
Yes, it is based on the infamous Dennis the Menace comic strip. And,
I mean, I'm sure anyone that is listening to this podcast is familiar with either the cartoon series, this series that we're doing, the movie that came out in the 90s, or the comic, or the, I don't know, did they have cereal at one point in time?
Oh, probably. They probably had all kinds of stuff. Like, if I went and actually looked up all the Dennis the Menace, because there was a video game.
Oh, like Super Nintendo era, right?
Yeah, like there's Dennis the Menace video games, and I'm sure all kinds of swag.
I remember Dennis the Menace would be on Dairy Queen ice cream cups.
Yes.
In the late 80s, early 90s, probably?
Yes, totally.
You would get like a blizzard and it would be like Dennis and Ruff, the dog.
I think he still kind of is sometimes.
I don't know.
I feel like it was really recently that I still had one.
I haven't been to Dairy Queen in a long-ass time, even though there's one nearby. Actually, no, I lied. I think I went during the summer, but I think I just got like a smoothie, so I don't know what it was. I
did not actually grow up with a Dairy Queen in where I lived, so I didn't really have Dairy Queen until I was in like high school.
Oh, okay. See, I lived in
and that was in the late 90s, so I remember the Dennis the Menace cups. I feel like he was still like in the Dairy Queen family. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's there anymore. Actually, my aunt works at a Dairy Queen. I can ask her. Want me to send her a text right now? Yeah, you should send her a text.
All right, she probably won't reply right away because she's like an older woman. And just like text her not fast.
That's because our Dairy Fairy replies so quickly.
Do you think our Dairy Fairy will know?
No, he won't know.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me find her. Is Dennis the Menace still a Dairy Queen mascot?
Yeah, that's probably the...
I should be like, hi, how are you first?
You should be like, hey, what up? Is Dennis the Menace still?
Hi, how are you? Hope you are well.
Random question.
Is Dennis the Menace still a Dairy Queen mascot? Okay, send. I probably will get an answer not tonight, probably by the next podcast, or I'll just never get an answer. So we'll find out. I remember one time we included her on a group chat via text, and she was just getting like random texts. Well, they weren't really random texts. Like there was family members like trying to like organize a night. But she has some kind of like older phone, so she doesn't get it as part of the group text. She just gets like individual texts.
Oh gosh.
So it's just people like, she didn't know what was going on.
Oh, and I bet they probably didn't come in like in order either.
Yeah, they're probably like separated, so like...
They're all separate, yeah. Like, that happens every once in a while on my phone.
Like on my phone, see, I get, if it's part of a group, I get the whole group is in the text, and so it's, you know, someone asks a question, and I get the response, and like other people respond, it's underneath, and I can see the names. But sometimes on older phones, they don't have that capability, so they're just going to get text from people, just like responding to it, but it's coming as a new text.
Yeah.
So it's really hard.
Chaos, because your phone starts blowing up, and you're like, I don't know what's going on, and you're trying to figure this out. It's like Dennis the Menace was just there in your house. In your phone. But
I do believe that my aunt's husband is on Twitter because he's responded to things. So he might actually hear this and respond as well. So we might find the answer out in like 2 months' time.
Like a month from now?
Yeah. I don't know if he listens to these. I don't know. Probably not. But he definitely responds to my tweets sometimes. So that's fun.
Oh, that's nice. None of my family follows me on Twitter.
Is that good or bad? Probably good.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I hate like Facebook when you have like family follows you, like that family members you don't want to follow you, and they respond to things. They don't understand jokes or humor.
Yeah, they don't understand stuff. Like you can't like subtweet sort of kind of thing. You can't like have a sub status on Facebook without them being like, oh my god, what's wrong? And you're just like, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to like post this Taylor Swift lyric. God.
There was over the summer, so my brother, one of my brothers just never like shows up to things ever. He always says he's going to, and he never does. So like it was like it would have been the one time all 4 siblings would have been in the same spot at the same time.
Yeah. But
then my other brother just didn't show up, so we took a photo, and I said, whoever's not here is out of the family. And then I just got all this thing like, from various family members, like, you didn't invite me, like, I don't think it's fair that I was like, no, it was a joke.
Like, immediate family hello.
I was like, it was a joke to my brother Timmy, who just never goes to things.
Yeah. And I'm sure that my siblings have made similar jokes about me for not going to certain events because I have lived out of state or out of town.
So it was just a knock, and I'm sure most of my family got it, but then I was just getting these like private messages, and I didn't know like how to respond to them, so I was like, ugh. And Then one of my aunts was like, "Oh, I knew you were joking. I just wanted to see if you were joking." And I was like, "Okay, like sure."
I knew you were joking, but I wanted to see if you were great.
Ugh, oy vey is all I have to say.
No, the best is when you get to unfriend those people, like the ones who aren't your family, but they're like connected to you still somehow, and you're just like, I don't need to be connected to you, and I don't need to be connected to you, so goodbye.
I'm not an unfriender though.
Really?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Yeah, I unfriended a couple people yesterday. I've got one big one coming up, so.
Great. That's always, I mean, actually, I think I've only unfriended one person once, and then like a week later, I was like, yeah, I enjoyed seeing you crash and burn on my timeline, so you're coming back. But
fabulous.
I always notice when people do unfollow you, though, because my friend count goes down, and then I try to figure it out, and then I very quickly always figure it out.
Yeah, you're like, wait, I had 310, and now I have 309. Who left?
And
Who vanished?
It's soul crushing, I'll tell you that. You're just like, why? What did I do?
Like, was it really annoying? I never post.
You're like, was it that thing that I posted yesterday? Or the day
really
before?
That's those Taylor Swift lyrics, really?
Yeah, like definitely I've done like song lyrics, and someone's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And they're like, "I thought you were gonna like commit suicide." I'm like, "No, I was posting a Taylor Swift lyric."
Oh my gosh! No, I did have a friend who like had suicidal thoughts, and he put it in his status. The first thing I did was I go click the link to report it.
Yeah.
And like that's a whole like 10-minute process to fill out this like thing to alert Facebook to this kind of thing.
So there's like a suicide button on Facebook?
Yeah, there's like a report. Yeah.
So Nirvana has a song called I Hate Myself and Want to Die. So if I wrote that...
Yes. I would report you.
Would like would the
notify
popo...
you that somebody is concerned.
Would the popo show up at my house?
I don't know.
We could
try it. I don't actually
know
what happens, but I like they notify them that like, you know, people are concerned about you. Maybe you need to talk to somebody kind of thing, I think.
I don't know. We could do a social experiment tonight and see if it works. But I don't want to write that because then I'll get like weird messages like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "You've never heard the Nirvana song? I Hate Myself and Want to Die."
Yeah, I really don't think either of us should try that right now.
I mean, I know it was written like as a joke, but the lead singer ended up actually killing himself. So
yeah, that really doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't use that as a precedent.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, Dennis the Menace.
Yes. That is.
Do you have any affiliations with the show? Did you watch it?
I remember watching this on like Nickelodeon.
Oh, this was totally like original Nick at Night show.
Or like, yeah, it was like one of either the afternoon on Nickelodeon or in the early evening on Nick at Night. I remember watching it. Like, I don't remember, like, I remember watching it. I remember like tidbits, but it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, this episode or that episode. It's just kind of one of those things that was on while my brother and I were playing in the room or whatever and had the TV on. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I was a Dennis the Menace nut. I remember watching the show. I remember specific episodes. I remember characters. I remember the cartoon. I remember the movie. And like other TV movies.
I watched the movie.
The one, like, I just remember it all. I was always into it. This particular episode here, I never knew this was the first episode, but I remember this one. I've probably seen this episode like 100 times.
I totally see you. You just like Saturday night, just not feeling like watching anything else. You're like, I'm going to watch Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace was the shit. And I actually really liked this run of the series, especially like the first couple episodes are really good because like Dennis was off the wall bonkers 1958, 1959 standards.
Yes, he really. Okay. Have you interacted with any children in your neighborhood that are like Dennis?
There are children in my neighborhood, and I've never interacted with them.
Oh, you lucky bastard. Okay. So when I first moved to this godforsaken state of Minnesota, and we moved into this apartment, about a month later, the same day, these two families moved in with little girls. And you're like, okay, whatever, there's kids in the building. They'll, like, do their own thing. I've lived in buildings with kids. They kind of just leave you alone. Not these girls. Not these girls at all. There was one who was a total Dennis the Menace type. She always wanted to help me with stuff. Like, I'd be stripping the paint off of my antique vanity, and she'd be like over on her deck yelling, "Can I come help you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm working with dangerous chemicals. Stay away, child." And like, she always wanted to help me, and she was always like on top of me, and she was always knocking on our door. And so was the other one. It'd be like 7 o'clock in the morning, and they're like, Aaron would answer the door, and they'd be like, "Can I come out and play?" And we're like, "I'm a 30-year-old woman. I don't come out to play. Go away." Like, go away. And like, for months, it was just these girls every day. And like, the one's father, who was just as annoying, like knocking on my door, wanting stuff, needing attention. I'm just like, oh my God. One day they just like walked into my apartment.
Were the parents the same age as us?
No.
Were they like a lot older?
There was one, like the couple next door with the like major menace. They were older. Like, way older. Because
now there's, like, humans that are the same age as us that have, like, teenagers.
Yeah, I know. Oh, my God, that's freaking me out. So, and then, like, the couple below, like, the one who lived below me was always slamming her damn door. Like, they slammed this door all the time. And the way the apartments are set up is their wall was actually ran through my it's under my apartment, like, the way where their apartment ends. Mine hangs over a bit. And when they slammed the door, like the jolt of it would shake through the wall. And there were times I'd be sitting in my living room and I would feel this just jolt of energy through my body from them slamming the door.
So essentially, you are Mr. Wilson.
Yes, I am Mr. Wilson.
You know what?
Oh my God, I'm Mr. Wilson, yeah.
Growing up, I always, like, related with Dennis. Like, you're always, like, pro-Dennis. But now, I'm just like, you know what? I totally understand. I totally get Mr. Wilson. He just wants to go outside, paint his gutters, his downspouts, his fence. He doesn't want his dog... He just
wants to sit at home and read. He just wants to, like, chillax, enjoy his semi-retirement or whatever.
Yeah, he's retired. He's an older man. He has a dog Fremont that is just like he escapes all the time. So he built this fence around his yard.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I wonder if he moved into this neighborhood just thinking it was a great place and then like found out Dennis lived next door, or if the Mitchells moved in. That's what I
feel like the Mitchells probably moved in next.
Yeah, probably. Because they're like a youngerish couple.
Yeah, they're a youngerish couple. The mother is just frazzled with Dennis. Dennis is an only child for a reason. And, well, like, in the episode, he decides to fix the kitchen table and unscrews the leg and makes his friend hold the table up by, like, sitting under it with the table on his head. And then he tries to, like, hammer the leg because he thinks the wood'll squirt up.
Yeah, his idea of fixing the table was banging it with a hammer because it will make the wood expand. I guess it's...
I kind of understand, like, why a child might think that, but I'm like, wow.
How old do you think Dennis's parents are, Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell? Because I know, like, when we do, like, sitcom from the 80s, and we're always surprised the characters, like, in their, like, 35.
Yeah.
What
surprises me with the ones in the 80s is they're like 35, but they look 45.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering.
And we do not look that old.
I'm just wondering, like, how old Allison, Mr. Mitchell. I don't think I know Mr. Mitchell's name.
I want to say it's Harry.
Yeah, it could be.
Or Henry or something.
I think it's Henry.
I am going to say they are probably about our age.
Yeah, probably. Because Dennis is probably like 6 or 7.
Yeah, he's like 7.
So
he's not like little, but he's not like a big kid either. He's like kind of the age you would expect somebody our age to possibly have and not be totally freaked out.
So they started having, like, Henry Mitchell probably got out of college and then married Alice. Is it Alice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I honestly don't know. Let me see.
I feel like it is. Do you know what I really think of? Like, in reality, Mrs.
Yeah,
Mitchell,
it's Alice.
Alice Mitchell would totally be a Betty Draper if Dennis was his kid. Because Sally Draper was kind of a handful, but she was not as bad as Dennis, and Betty Draper was like ready to pull her hair out.
Oh yeah, Alice is like just ready to go insane. They have used and none of them are coming back. There's, she's nipping from the cooking sherry.
Like, do you think in 1959 they weren't allowed to show a TV mom, like, just drinking wine
Probably
by
not.
the bottle full?
Probably not. Considering the way they had to tone down Dennis's antics.
All right, so
yeah, I don't think so.
What I mostly remember about this episode, so the premise of the episode basically is Henry and Alice Mitchell are just so frazzled they had enough. They just want to have one night by themselves. They want to go see the new Glenn Ford Western, who I guess is some, like, sexy, like, cowboy movie star.
I guess so. Oh, I should look him up. Let's see what Glenn Ford looks like. Yeah. He's okay.
Is he like an older man?
I mean, I don't know.
What? I can't see. Do it again. Okay.
Yeah, he's not like...
What year was he born in?
Eastwood or anything.
What year was he born in?
Oh, you're gonna make me like look up all kinds of stuff now. Born 1916.
So he would have been 43 at the time this episode aired.
Yeah.
So he's okay. I guess he's an older man, but I don't know. So he definitely has to be long gone by now, right?
Oh yes.
Otherwise, he's 99.
He passed away in 2006.
Oh wow, he was he lived.
Yeah, he had several marriages.
Anyone famous? Like Marilyn Monroe?
Catherine Hay, like a bunch of famous people.
Catherine Hagel?
No, wait. Ford. Wait, is he? Oh no.
Is there multiple Glenn Fords?
There are. I was getting kind of confused with somebody else. Fondas.
Oh.
No, Glenn Ford was married to Cynthia Hayward, Catherine Hayes, Eleanor Powell. They're all different actresses.
Those names mean nothing to me, but they could be future contestants on our podcast, I guess. Contestants? Yeah. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I think you mean subjects.
Subjects, okay. Contestants. Will the next contestant come on down? You like just married Glenn Ford. All right, so my notes are scattered all over the place. So does the episode begin with the table scene, or is there another?
No, there's an episode before that where Alice is just trying to get Dennis to go to bed.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Yep. And like every child, he doesn't want to go to bed. He's like, oh, well, maybe we could go down for a bologna sandwich. And she's like, just go to bed. Like, she's this close to just hauling off and spanking this kid.
That sounds disgusting, a bologna sandwich, by the way.
Yeah. I was like, who eats bologna?
I remember writing that down. I was like, bologna sandwich? There's
but
like
then again, when I was little, I ate bologna, but now I'm just like, why the hell did I eat that?
Like, bologna is just like scrap meat. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh. So the episode comes back, and then now we're basically at the part we just talked about, where Dennis is he's hanging out with Joey, who...
Yeah.
Joey's younger?
Yeah, Joey's younger. Joey's probably like 5.
All right, so Joey is a big character in the comic books and the cartoon series, and I believe the movies, but in the actual, like, this TV show, he's only in, like, 5 episodes, maybe.
Yeah.
And he's, like, significantly younger. They replace him with Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I thought Margaret was in this episode, but I guess she doesn't make an appearance.
Yeah, she doesn't make an appearance until a few episodes later.
Yeah. So this episode, the main characters, I guess, are just Henry and Alice, Dennis, Joey,
and Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. Mrs. Wilson is not even in the episode.
No, she's not mentioned at all.
And the babysitter, Mrs. Porter?
Yeah, Mrs. Porter.
Okay. So the basic premise is, all right, so Dennis is kind of like, he's causing trouble in the kitchen. He does that. He wants to fix the wobbly table. So he uses Joey as, like, a stool to basically his head to hold the table up.
Yeah.
And Dennis is banging on the hammer. Alice comes in. She has no idea any of this is going on. She somehow does not see that there's, like, a table leg on the ground.
She's so frazzled. She's just like, I gotta worry about what's on the stove because dinner's gonna be soon. Dennis is just on top of me, and so is Joey. And then Dennis starts hammering the damn table leg, and she's just like, hammer outside.
And
please, Dennis. Please, Dennis.
In reality, she probably drank like 3 bottles of wine.
She's definitely had like the coffee cup with the Chardonnay all day.
Yep, just pretending she's doing housework. So then she's like telling Dennis just go outside. So he's like, you sure? Because if Joey goes outside, something bad's gonna happen. But he's not specific.
Yeah, he's just like, are you sure? She's like, Dennis, just listen to me.
So Joey finally is like, all right. And so he removes himself from the table, and the table just collapses all over the place.
And the eggs and the bowls and whatever she was going to be mixing on the table, huge mess all over the floor.
And Dennis is like, oh, sorry, Mom, that you're going to have a headache after this, but I'm going to go outside now.
Yeah.
So he runs outside, and now he's like, we're cut to the front of the Wilson household.
Yeah.
And he sees Mr. Wilson up on a ladder, like painting his like downspouts and gutters.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing that he decides to do, Dennis is like, I'm going to help Mr. Wilson. And Mr. Wilson's like, no, like, do not open the gate, because...
don't come near me. Mr. Wilson knows what is about to happen. He knows whatever's going to happen is not going to be good.
So Dennis opens up the gate. Fremont, the dog, escapes and is, like, gone. So yeah. Mr. Wilson has to run after the dog. Dennis and Joey go into the yard, and they decide they're going to, like, help out.
Yeah, they decide they're going to do the painting.
So they basically start to, like, get everything together. So Mr. Wilson has, like, a bucket of paint, and it's, like, a significant amount of space beside the ladder. But Joey moves the paint bucket closer. And Dennis starts climbing up the ladder. Then Mr. Wilson comes back with a dog. And he's like, Dennis, get off the ladder. He's like, I'm going to paint. Mr. Wilson climbs up the ladder. Dennis follows.
Like, right on his ass. This kid is, like, right behind him. He is practically attached to Mr. Wilson. It is ridiculous.
If Mr. Wilson farted, Dennis would smell it. Basically, that's how close he was.
It would be in Dennis's face.
So now, like, Mr. Wilson's like, just get the fuck out of my yard, kid. Like, just leave, please. So Dennis is like, all right. So he gets, like, off the ladder. And Mr. Wilson, like, gets down, I guess, for some reason.
Yeah, he starts, like, because I think he's going to try and chase them out of the yard and make sure the gate's closed behind them, because last thing he wants to do is run after Fremont again.
And then he fucking steps in the paint bucket.
Yep.
Oh, hold on. Sad moment.
Oh, God, no, don't do it.
Fremont the dog is probably long gone right now. Actually, they all probably are.
Fuck you, Patrick. Fuck you.
Whenever I see an animal on an old show...
I know, we've been through this.
I know, but it makes me sad. So, do we know, is anyone on Dennis the Menace alive still? I don't even know.
Jay North, I think, is still alive.
I imagine he probably is, but what about, like, the parents?
Let me do a quick little check while
I
I
believe
can.
Mr. Wilson is
Yes.
dead because he died during the filming of the show.
Yes, both Mr. Wilsons have passed.
Well, Gail Gordon was the second Mr. Wilson.
Yes. Oh, the mother is still alive.
Fuck, how old is she now?
She is 92 years old.
Woo! What's her name?
Gloria Henry.
Shout out to Gloria Henry. If you hear this, tweet us at Very Podcast and give us some staff secrets.
Or maybe get your grandkids to tweet us, your great-grandkids.
Yeah, if your grandkids hear this podcast, tweet us at Very Podcast and tell us some staff secrets. So I believe Jay North is definitely still alive.
I'm pretty sure.
Margaret is probably still around. Tommy definitely, yes. Unless he was
wait,
OD'd.
Who is this? Who did she play? Oh, one of the Mrs. Wilsons is still alive.
Fuck, what?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the Mrs. Wilsons is still alive.
How old is she, 200?
97.
Oh, she wasn't even that much older than Alice then.
Yeah.
Was it a later Mrs. Wilson?
I don't know. I think it was the first Mrs. Wilson.
No, she was an elderly woman.
No, it was the first.
Holy fuck. She was 7 years older than,
The second one has passed, though.
Okay. Alright, so, Mrs. Wilson, if you hear this podcast, or if any of your great-grandchildren hear this podcast, tweet us and tell us some staff secrets.
Well, you know what? It's kind of like with I Love Lucy, how Vivian Vance was so much younger than...
Lucy?
What's his face?
Oh,
the guy that played Fred Mertz.
Yeah. But, they made it seem... They had to, dress up Vivian Vance to make it look like she was, 30 years older, but, reality, she was, a year younger than Lucy, maybe?
Yeah, she was, the same age.
Yeah.
Because, yeah... And yeah, Jay North is still alive.
Oh yeah, I believe he was. I would definitely know if he died.
Yeah, you would definitely know. I would have mentioned that the other day when I was reading notes and stuff. Yeah, he is 64 years old.
Wow, he's retirement age.
Yeah.
He's never done anything after this. Oh, he voiced himself on this episode of The Simpsons one time. I remember that. So
yeah, he's done he did some voiceover work. He tried to have a career, but it just didn't happen.
Well, he was such a bastard. No one wanted to hire him.
What do you mean he was such a bastard?
I mean, on the show. I'm sure
on the show, yeah.
This was early television. You got Typecast Central back then.
True.
It's not like today.
He actually has a pretty, decent list of roles, though. It's not he had actually a lot of work after and during Dennis the Menace.
Name something fun that he did after Dennis the Menace.
The Lucy Show. My Three Sons. The Pebbles and Bam Bam Show. Lassie. General Hospital.
When was he on General Hospital? In the what decade?
On General Hospital in 1982.
Oh, so he was an old man then?
Yeah. Older man.
Older man. Probably not handsome anymore.
Probably maybe a little rough around the edges, but yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Wilson steps in a bucket of paint. He's fucking pissed.
I mean, I'd be pissed too.
Oh yeah, I would be too. But
you ruined. Basically, your pants are ruined, your socks are ruined, your shoes are ruined.
But I mean, you know what? I'm a messy painter, so I would definitely wear scrubs when I was painting. I wouldn't wear my day-to-day wear. Yeah. And Mr. Wilson was definitely wearing his day-to-day wear, so.
Well, he thought he was just going to paint the trim, maybe do a little touch-up.
No.
He didn't count on Dennis, which I don't know why you wouldn't do. I would suspect Dennis could be anywhere at any time.
I feel like it was already pre-established that Dennis was already a menace in the neighborhood.
Yes.
So he would have known ahead of time. And maybe
this was not their first run-in together, that's for sure.
If I was Mr. Wilson, I would have waited until Dennis was in school, school season.
Yeah.
And then just done it while he was at school.
Yeah, that's when you get stuff done in that neighborhood, is when Dennis is in school.
Or does he not go to school? I don't know, because like this whole show just seems to take place like he's always like freely around, unless like Mr. Wilson is lazy and just waits till the afternoon to do things.
Maybe. Well, it might be like summertime. Plus, he's 7. Maybe he only went to school like half a day.
Oh, I mean, like you're probably like second grade.
No, when you're like 7, yeah, it's gotta be like summer vacation kind of thing at that point.
I mean, he would at least be in the second grade, I think, at this point in time.
At least first, second, yeah, somewhere in there.
Huh. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to like research this like 1959 school times.
Yeah,
that'll be a
I'm
takeaway.
Sure
that'll be on our website. Go to our website, a very special podcast.tumblr.com, and we will debunk 1959 school era. Or maybe not. So, basically what happens right after this. So now Alice and Henry Mitchell are frazzled because Dennis just caused quite a stir. So they want to go to the movies that night to see the new Glenn Ford pick. It's like a Western.
And it's the last night it's playing at the theater around the corner.
And Dennis desperately wants to go. He's been waiting his whole life to see this movie.
Yes, his whole life to see this one Glenn Ford picture.
And the parents are kind of like, yeah, you're not coming. Like, they're
like,
no...
the last thing we need is you in the movie theater.
So they decide they're going to try to call a babysitter, but they know it's tough to get a babysitter because apparently they've gone through like every babysitter in town.
Because Dennis is just as bad as Bart Simpson.
Dennis, actually, Bart Simpson is probably worse, but
yeah.
This is 1959, so like Dennis is just a bastard at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that episode of The Simpsons was on like yesterday.
Which one?
The one with the babysitter bandit.
Oh, was it?
Where they call the
America's Most Wanted
services to get. They have to use a fake name to get a babysitter.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Do you know what is really cool? It's okay. The FX app. You can watch a random Simpsons episode.
Yeah.
I do it every night before I go to bed. I just pick a random one.
Yeah, I use it once in a while when I want to see a certain one.
Yeah, but you know what though? If I want to see a certain one and I go through the list of episodes and I see another one that I want to watch, so I go, you know what? I'm just better off doing a random one. But then when I find like a newer episode, I'm like, I still laugh. Like, I know like Simpsons gets the bad rap. That's not the same show anymore. But you still laugh.
It's been on for over 20 years. It's not going to be the same show.
Yeah, I know, you still laugh.
Funny.
But sadly, I think they said like in like 3 years this is going to end.
Yeah.
I think it should just go on forever, because just fucking do it.
Oh, well.
Just do it. I will donate money if you have this show going forever. I don't care how shitty it is. You can find some plot.
Oh, I'm sure they could. They just got to figure it out. But yeah, so they can't find a babysitter. They call everybody. One girl was so frazzled, she told them that she had to go pearl diving. And so she couldn't babysit Dennis. So
there's this new older lady, Mrs. Porter, who just moved into town. Like she just...
Thank God. Thank God this lady just moved to town.
She's an Everett.
And her number's been passed around for babysitting.
So Dennis basically... He gets this idea that he is going to sneak out of the house, go to the movie anyway, but he knows that someone has to be at the Mitchell household.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know what? He's like, my parents kind of like Joey.
Yeah.
He's like, I bet you... Like, so Dennis is like, Mom, do you like Joey? And she's like, I love Joey. He would be like a good influence on you. And she was like... Dennis is like, what would you think if Joey stayed the whole night? And she's like, you know what? If he stayed the whole night, maybe that influence will rub off on you for certain. So it's like late at night. So he goes, all right, hold on 1 minute. And he leaves the house.
It's like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So he's just like, okay, the parents are like trying to straighten up from whatever mess Dennis has created in the living room. And so Dennis hops on his, like, tricycle thing and just rides down the street to Joey's house to invite him to sleep over.
So he shows up at Joey's house. Joey's mom answers the door, and she's frightened.
She's like, I cleaned the house today, Dennis! You can't come in!
And he's like, I'm not coming. He's like, I don't want to come in. He's like, I just want to know if Joey wants to spend the night. And she's like, okay. All
yeah.
right, Joey, just go. So
Joey, grab your pajamas and your toothbrush.
Yeah. I don't even think she says toothbrush. She just says grab your pajamas.
No, she said toothbrush too.
Oh, did she? So, Dennis goes back to his house. He sneaks Joey in the house because he doesn't want his parents to know that Joey's coming back. So he sneaks Joey upstairs and he's like, Joey, stay quiet. Just don't do anything. Just like hide in the closet for the next like hour and a half. Until Mrs. Porter gets here. So as soon as Mrs. Porter shows up, Dennis bolts upstairs, basically.
Yeah, he hides upstairs. The parents, like, don't wait for Dennis to come back down to introduce him to the babysitter. They're just like, they're out of there.
Yeah.
They're out.
Alice has, like, postpartum depression. She's like, I just need one fucking night away from this kid.
Yeah.
So she takes off. And Mrs. Porter... Oh, whoa, hold on. Mrs. Porter is, she specifically asks if the house is locked up because she's afraid of intruders.
Yeah.
And Henry Mitchell's like, oh yeah, the house is all locked up. I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
No. No way.
So she's like, all right, I'm just going to go hang out in the living room and knit.
Yeah.
So, as soon as the parents leave, Dennis climbs out the window. Like, he climbs, second story.
Yeah. He climbs down the gutter pipe thing.
He knocks the gutter down, too, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he knocks it down on his way back up later.
Oh, I thought it was when he was coming down.
Yeah, no, he shimmies down the gutter, like, he crawls along the roof, and then he shimmies down the gutter thing, the drain pipe, rain pipe thing, and he gets on his bike, and he follows his parents to the movie theater.
What a fucking asshole.
He's 7 fucking years old.
I can see why they wanted to tone down, like, the antics, because I know, like, you can be, like, kind of like a dickhead when you're, like, a little kid, but I would never sneak out of the house.
I would never have thought to climb out my second-story bedroom window, climb around the roof, and shimmy down the pipe to sneak out of my house at 7 years old.
And you know what? I wouldn't even know where to go.
Yeah, like, I never snuck out anyways when I was older, so.
But, like, alright, so I guess this must have been, like, a really small town, so the movie theater must have been, like, really close.
Yeah, it couldn't have been that far.
Because where I lived, there was no movie theater in my town. I had to go to the next town.
Yeah, same here.
Which was, like, 5 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I would have taken a tricycle at night to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1959, though, so.
Yeah, I guess everything was close in the 50s. I don't know. I have no idea. It was like pre-urban sprawl. I don't know.
Just the start of it all, I guess. I don't know. So he goes to the movies. His parents get their tickets. They go in. Dennis shows up on his bike. He tries to ride his bicycle into the theater, and the usher is like, what the hell? No.
He scoops him out, signals him back out of the theater, like, just does like the... So he drives out. Then he tries to grab 2 tickets off the ground and walk in. And
like, it's one ticket, and the guy's like, wait, these are torn.
Then, at the same time, another couple is coming up with a kid, and Dennis is like, psst, hey, you want to check out my bike? So the kid's like, yeah, I want to check out your bike. So the little kid goes to check out his bike. Dennis pretends he's that other couple's child, and he goes into the movie. Then the kid tries to go into the movie with the bike, and the usher's like, what?
like, kid, aren't you sick of trying this? And then the dad comes back and he's like, where the hell's my son?
And then the usher's like, oh, okay, just go in, I guess.
Yeah.
Now we come back to the Mitchell house. So now Mrs. Porter calls Dennis, in quotations, downstairs. And Joey comes downstairs and he's like the cutest kid.
Just the cutest, sweetest, most adorable little kid. You just want to pinch his cheek.
Their music changes. He has like a smile on his face, and he's like
the sweetest little kid.
Did we establish that Joey never says a word in this episode?
Never. I think we did say that.
he never utters a word. So now we cut back to like the movie theater. Dennis is in the movie theater, so like he grabs a seat. He's stealing people's popcorn. He has toy guns, and he's like shooting them at the screen.
He's just like your nightmare of what a child in a movie theater is like.
He's like the reason why you don't go to movies.
This weekend that had kids in the theater, and this group of little boys would not shut up the first half of Goosebumps. And I was just like, oh my god, these kids are like Dennis the Menace.
Wait, you went and saw Goosebumps?
Yes.
How was it?
I really enjoyed it.
Was it?
I got a little, I saw it in 3D, so some of the stuff made me jump.
What's it rated? I don't even think I know.
I think it's like PG-13, maybe?
It's a 13?
Maybe.
Okay.
It's definitely a little scary for kids.
Not for adults?
I mean, if I hadn't gone to see the 3D version, I probably wouldn't have jumped. Been a little. There were definitely some times where I was like, "Whoa!"
I don't know. You made me watch Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus is a classic.
I guess if you're a lady, I don't know.
I know lots of guys. Okay, wait. I think they're mostly gay. I love Hocus Pocus. So never mind. So Joey's like the perfect kid, and then there's Dennis.
Dennis is at the movie. He's just being a nuisance. So he basically goes up into the projection room because he wants them to move, like rewind the movie.
Yeah, he wants them to replay a scene, and the projectionist is like, sorry, folks. We'll be back on in a minute.
So Henry and Alice are like...
Kid, I can't replay that scene.
So Henry and Alice are like in the audience, and they're nervous. They're like, do you think that could be Dennis? They're like, no, Dennis is like a perfect child. So Alice is like... I think I'm going to call home and just double check. So she leaves, goes to the payphone. She calls the house. As she's on the phone with Mrs. Porter, you see Dennis coming down from the balcony steps in the background.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Porter's
misses this little brat.
Mrs. Porter is with Joey, who's behaving finely, and she's like, "Oh, I love Dennis. You need to have me come every week.
Such a good boy."
Yeah. So Alice is like, wow, I can't believe this. So she goes back to Henry and she's like, oh my god, I can't believe, I called home. Dennis is, behaving. Mm-hmm. And they're, talking. Now they cut back to Dennis in the background and he's like, shh.
Yeah. He has any right to shh anybody. What the hell, kid? What the hell?
He's shushing his parents for talking while he was being an asshole.
Yeah.
So, alright, so now the movie ends. Dennis basically, rides his bike home, but I guess he's faster than the car? I don't know.
I don't think the parents took the car. I think they just walked if it was around the corner.
Was it that close?
I think it's just around the corner. If the kid rode his bike.
Where do they live? Do we know?
Oh, crap. It's a small town. I think on the TV version, it's the same town as, Donna Reed.
What town does Donna Reed live in?
Just some generic little middle America, California type town. So let's see. Does the Wikipedia say anything? Doesn't say where, I think.
I'm guessing Southern California somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, just a little suburban area.
So, Dennis, I guess, is on a bike, so he drives home faster than Henry and Alice walking.
Yeah, and they were talking about stopping to get a bite to eat before going home.
Okay. All right, so they grabbed, a little snack.
Yeah.
So, Dennis comes home, and he has to climb up the gutter again, I guess.
Mm-hmm. He tries to climb up the gutter, and it crashes down, and this freaks out Mrs. Porter.
All right, so, well, actually, she doesn't hear, like, she slightly hears it at first.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, was that a noise? But Dennis is like, hold on, Mr. Wilson has his ladder from painting earlier.
Yeah, it's just still sitting out in front of his house. So
I'm going to run over. So
goes against the ladder. He drops one of his toy guns while he's doing, like, all this stuff. And he positions the ladder. He climbs up and sneaks back into his room.
And I guess he makes a noise that makes Mr. Wilson come out at the same time that Mrs. Porter calls the cops.
Yes. So Mr. Wilson's, like, looking around going, what the heck? Oh, why is my ladder at the Mitchells? And he picks up, like, we don't see this. We're only told. But he, like, I guess he picks up the toy gun, which looks pretty real.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, Dennis was in the movie theater with those same guns. They don't have, like, those, like, orange tips. They look real.
Yeah. They look pretty real.
So, Mr. Wilson gets arrested. For
because perfection.
Mr. Wilson is arrested. And, well, we don't know this yet. So, all right. So
yeah, we don't know this yet.
So Henry and Alice come home, and they're like, oh, we had such a lovely night. How do things go? And Mrs. Porter's like, oh, Dennis is lovely. He's such a warm child. I will definitely babysit for you guys again. She's like, the only thing was, like, your neighbor, like, came over and, like, tried to put a ladder up against the house. And they were like, oh, okay. They just brushed it off.
Like, there was a prowler, but I called the cops, and they arrested the guy. And they're like, oh, okay.
But she didn't mention, like, the prowler tried to break into this house.
Yeah.
So she, like, leaves it out. So Alice and Henry, like, they go upstairs to, like, Dennis's room, and they're just like, Joey's hiding in the closet.
Yeah. Dennis has made this poor kid hide in his closet.
He's like, Joey, hide in the closet. So now Dennis is laying in the bed. So Alice is like, oh, you're such a good boy. I can't believe, like, I doubted anything bad you ever tried to do this week. And she goes back and says, the phone rings. Henry picks it up, and it's Mr. Wilson calling from jail.
Yeah.
And he is, like, trying to explain, like, I just got arrested. Like, cops are to say I put a ladder on your house and tried to break in, and I'm a prowler. And all, like,
and Henry's all like, wait, what?
And, like, the episode ends, like, right there.
Yeah.
There's no, like, if this happened today, it would be, like, 6 more court trials, basically.
I cannot believe this kid.
Like, this kid is an asshole.
Yeah.
So, this episode aired, and they had to, like, tone down his, like, actions.
Because he was such a bad kid.
Like, I don't know. I feel like we could do a podcast separate, just like Dennis the Menace.
Another spin-off!
And Kat shakes her head because how many spin-offs do we have?
I think the last time I counted was 5.
Is this a new running gag? We could do a...
I think it is.
So what did you think of this episode? Because I thought it was great. I thought it was just like...
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was a nice little thing to watch.
Did it feel long?
It did feel a little long the second time I watched it, because I'd already seen it. But it definitely felt longer than some of the stuff we've watched.
Like, I felt like there's a lot of stuff, like a lot of throwaway scenes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in one episode, and then it's just like, whoa.
Well, I guess back in the day, like, they used to have, like, sponsors for shows, so the shows would be longer.
Yeah, you'd get, like, the 1 or 2, like, break with, now a message from our sponsor, Texaco, or
so you'd have, like, one Texaco commercial, and the show would be, like, 27 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's like, it just, like, felt long. I was like, wait, is this... I remember I was watching it. I was like, is this still on? But, I don't know, I thought it was fun to do, like, an old show. I feel like that's, like... We get a lot of... I don't know, it's hilarious just to watch something from, like, older times. Like,
well, it's interesting just to see how things have changed and progressed in the way a series is told.
It makes me laugh that they had to, like, tone Dennis down for younger audiences because they just were afraid that he was going to imitate
He was such an ass, though. Of course they had to.
But, like...
He was a 7-year-old who snuck out of the house.
Yeah, I can't believe he snuck out of the house. That is so wild.
Yeah, like, what the hell, kid? What the hell?
I can't believe... I think you texted me. You said, what the fuck? I can't believe he snuck out of the house.
Yeah, I think I did. I was like, he snuck out of the house.
But I definitely think this could be like a show we could definitely revisit because...
Yes.
I don't know,
There's
it's definitely
so
fun.
much more we could watch.
There's cast changes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of very special episodes. Margaret's not even in this episode.
Yeah.
We can even do the cartoon or the 1993 movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's so much more.
Do you remember the Disney Channel movie with the dinosaur bones?
I have a hazy memory of it.
They did it before the theatrical Dennis the Menace. They did like a Disney Channel one, and Dennis finds
where he finds the dinosaur bones.
Yes.
Wait, that's not the theater movie?
No, not the theater movie. Was Dennis befriends Christopher Lloyd, who is like a hobo.
What the?
Dinosaur Bones is the Disney Channel one.
Okay, I remember that one. I guess I don't remember the theatrical release.
Walter Matthau was Mr.
Yeah, I remember that. Isn't Leah Thompson in that?
Yes. All right, okay. So that is the theatrical release, but the TV movie one is Dinosaur Bones.
In my head, they're the same.
They're probably the same. I don't know.
They're probably similar.
But the cartoon, I always thought the cartoon was fun. We definitely have to find an episode of the cartoon and do it.
Oh yeah, I definitely watched the cartoon.
Because I feel like the cartoon was more truer to the the comic strip. Yeah.
To the comic.
Because the TV series kind of portrayed him as he accidentally fell into these things.
Yeah. He's just trying to be this helpful little kid.
But the comic strip, he was just really an asshole.
Yeah.
Which is just how it was.
It's just Dennis. That's just your Dennis.
Alright, so do you have anything extra to add?
I don't know.
I think we got it. I think we got all Dennis Menace. So our next episode, we're gonna venture into the friend zone.
Yes, we are. Patrick is finally going to watch an episode of Friends. We are going to watch a Thanksgiving episode. Has Brad Pitt in it, so you all know exactly what episode I'm talking about.
So this is late season Friends. I've seen half an episode of Friends, maybe.
Yes, so I'm excited about this. It's one of my favorite episodes.
So I guess as always,
bye.
Until next time, ho.